The holidays are supposed to be about family, right? About coming together, sharing joy, and making memories. Well, this past Christmas, I learned that sometimes family has a very different idea of what that means. It all started with an invitation to my parents' annual Christmas party. It's always been the highlight of the year for our extended family and friends. But this year, there was a new rule, a tiny little sentence at the bottom of the invitation that hit me like a ton of bricks. Please note, this will be an adults-only event. Adults only, my heart sank. That meant my son, my sweet, energetic 5-year-old, wasn't welcome. I immediately called my mom, thinking there must have been some kind of mistake. Her response was not what I expected. She was calm, almost dismissive. "Honey, it's just for one night," she said. "We just want a more sophisticated atmosphere this year, less chaos." "You can get a babysitter, can't you?" Sophisticated chaos, the word stung. Was my son just chaos to them? I tried to explain that finding a sitter on Christmas Eve was nearly impossible, and more importantly, that Christmas Eve was for family, for all the family. My son adored his grandparents. He'd been making them handmade cards and ornaments for weeks, his little face glowing with excitement every time he talked about giving them his presents. My dad was even less sympathetic. When I spoke to him, he was blunt. "Listen, it's our house, our party, our rules. A lot of our friends don't want to be around screaming kids. It's not a daycare." The call ended with me feeling small and my son feeling like a burden. My husband was furious. He said, "If they don't want our son, then they don't get us either. We're a package deal." I knew he was right, but it was heartbreaking. I spent the next few days torn. Part of me wanted to give in just to keep the peace. But every time I looked at my son's innocent face, I knew I couldn't. I couldn't teach him that his own grandparents thought of him as an inconvenience. So I politely declined the invitation, explaining that we would be spending Christmas Eve together as a family. The response was a cold silence. "No, I understand. No, we'll miss you. Nothing." So, on Christmas Eve, instead of going to my parents' big, fancy party, my husband, my son, and I had our own little celebration. We ordered pizza, his favorite. We wore matching Christmas pajamas, watched all his favorite holiday movies, and built a massive pillow fort in the living room. He opened his presents from us, his eyes wide with wonder. It was simple, it was quiet, and honestly, it was one of the most magical nights of my life. There was no pretense, no pressure, just pure, unadulterated family joy. The next day, Christmas morning, we were getting ready to visit my husband's parents, who couldn't wait to see their grandson, when my phone started buzzing. It was my cousin, Sarah. She sounded flustered. "Where were you guys last night?" she asked. I told her what happened. There was a pause. "Oh," she said, her voice dropping. "Well, you didn't miss much." It was weird. She went on to explain that the party was stiff and quiet. The sophisticated atmosphere my parents wanted was just awkward. People were making small talk, checking their watches. The festive spirit was completely gone. "Honestly," Sarah said, "everyone kept asking where you and your little guy were. All the aunts and uncles missed him. They said the party felt empty without his energy." Then she dropped the real bombshell. "Your parents looked miserable. Your mom was wandering around looking lost, and your dad just stood in a corner looking grumpy." Around 9 o'clock, my mom overheard them arguing in the kitchen. Your mom was crying, saying the party was a disaster and that she missed her grandson. Your dad was just saying, "I told you this was a bad idea." It turned out that the adults-only rule wasn't even my parents' idea. It was a suggestion from one of my dad's newer, wealthier friends who had complained about children at a party the year before. My parents, trying to impress their sophisticated friends, had gone along with it, sacrificing their own family in the process. Later that day, my parents showed up at our door, unannounced. They looked exhausted and ashamed. My mom was holding a small, clumsily wrapped gift. My dad couldn't even look me in the eye. My mom started to cry. "We're so sorry," she whispered. "We were so wrong. The party was awful. We missed you." We missed him. My son, oblivious to all the drama, just saw his grandparents. He ran up and gave them a huge hug. "Grandma, Grandpa, look what Santa brought me." He pulled them into the living room, babbling excitedly about his new toys. And in that moment, watching my parents' faces soften as they watched him, I saw the regret wash over them. They sat on the floor, right in the middle of the wrapping paper and toys, and just played with him. My dad, who had called my son Chaos, was on his hands and knees making race car noises. My mom, who wanted a sophisticated party, was having a pretend tea party with a teddy bear. They finally understood. Family isn't about impressing people or having a perfect, quiet, adult atmosphere. It's about the noise, the laughter, the wrapping paper torn to shreds, the sticky handprints on the furniture. It's about the chaos. That chaos is the sound of love. It's the sound of life. It's the very heart of Christmas. They learned a valuable lesson that day. A perfect party is nothing without the people you love, all of them, no matter how small. And our little family? We had the best Christmas ever because we chose each other. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It was a tough lesson, but one that made our family stronger. If you've ever been in a similar situation, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.